Good afternoon and welcome to the third ELETS Healthcare Transformation Summit. We are now heading into a very pertinent topic and a very important panel discussion on adoption of holistic well-being for healthy workplace culture for women. We are delighted to welcome Ms. Vilu Williams, Chief Information Officer and Head Digital Transformation, Sir H. Reliance Foundation Hospital. Welcome, ma'am. Ms. Manisha Kumar, Cluster Head and Chief Operating Officer, HCG Hospital. Welcome, ma'am. Ms. Neha Lal, Senior General Manager, Ops and HR, GCS Medical College, Hospital and Research Center, and NABH Assessor, who will be heading this panel as the session chair. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank
We
you.
will also be joined by Ms. Gauri Sardesai, Vice President Sales Marketing Strategy, Lokmanya Hospital, subsequently. I now hand over the session to Ms. Neha Lal to take this discussion forward. Over to you, Ms. Neha.
Thank you, Ms. Garima. Very good afternoon to all the extinguished panelists as well as the audience of this today's Gupshup on the very prominent and as well as the required topic on adoption of the holistic well-being for the healthy workplace culture for the women. So the nature of the work and workplace are changing rapidly, as we know. Increased competition, work pressure, 24 by 7 work culture, etc., has made things very important to focus on the well-being at the work to address the growing issue like stress, anxiety, depression, and work-life balances, and especially for the women as they carry the burden of job, children, family, extended family. If we talk about the Indian context, so. So the main topic we are going to discuss today is on workplace physical environment and the safety climate, the workplace policies and the culture, health status, work evaluation and experience, home, community, society, and what we perceive as women. So these are the various pointers which I would like our panelists to should show some light for our audience as well as for the many other speakers who have joined today's workshop. So let me start with our discussion, our chat. Firstly, I'll just request Ms. Manisha Kumar to address on uh, things which are actually very much pertinent as well as important for the woman. That what are your views in the holistic approach concept, and it's important for an organization from the business point of view.
Yeah,
What are your views?
right. Thank you, Neha. I agree with you. This is a very apt topic, especially we are passing through COVID pandemic for the last 2 years, and
Yeah.
the pandemic has shown us very scary data, wherein 22% more women as compared to men have left their jobs, and incidents of depression, anxiety, etc., have been far more severe among working women as compared to men. I think female employees have a unique set of well-being requirements. So one size fits all kind of well-being program for an organization or employers may not work today. Women are supposed to be twice as likely to suffer from mental ill health at work as compared to men because of equal demands both at work and at home. Women are predominantly child carers. Many families, they are elderly carers as well. And most of the time, they are secondary earners in the family.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
all these reasons, their careers seem to take a backseat as compared to the other responsibilities that they have, or at least they are made to believe in such a way. I know personally, I know women, and statistically, I know from women who have worked in organizations along with me and my friends who work as well that many women feel that having a child has brought about a fundamental change in their career, where they are now viewed differently by their teams, their managers, and supervisors, and there are doubts around their competency and their performance capability. I also know of many women who now delay their pregnancy till the mid 30s, late 30s. Then they undergo artificial reproductive therapies. They undergo physical and hormonal treatments, which also take a toll on them. And I'm a working mother myself, and I know of so many working mothers who feel this unrelenting guilt of not having enough time and not giving enough attention, neither to home nor at work. So all these things, and there's world mental health data world global health data that says that women are more likely to be juggling home with the job, leading to more severe mental issues. They are twice as likely than men to give up their jobs in late 30s. They are four times as likely
Yeah.
to lose their working hours as compared to men. So I think for all these reasons, um, looking at well-being of employees is important, but specific to women and tailoring to women, there have to be programs, and there have to be initiatives and efforts that companies need to take, so that they maintain a healthy gender ratio, so that they don't lose out on this crucial workforce that they have.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so very much for actually, stressing on the point that having the guilt as a mother, as a working mother, having one or two child at home, and I think all working female, because the healthcare per se, healthcare industry is predominantly by the woman. I mean, if you see the other colleagues, subordinate nurses, or anybody, I mean, when we
Yeah.
talk about the patient, although the women are there, right there to take care about patients. Madam Vilu, what are your views in embracing the holistic approach? I mean, towards the male and female employees. If we talk about the balancing the two things, there are a lot of perception per se that only the women are given importance. Let's say the Women Day is coming, and Women Day is only being celebrated, not the male day. The way the women are given, women are given importance. So, what are your views in that?
So, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for having me on this show. See, the thing is that it all depends on how organization to organization people perceive women at the workforce. And also, much as I agree with whatever Manisha has said, and she's covered the whole gamut of the women's mindset very well. The thing is that how a woman wants herself to be perceived is also important. It will depend on her own mental strength. It will depend on her own, outlook on her working life. What kind of a career she wants to build on, by herself for herself. That is very important. And how much of a fighter is she to actually stand for herself? This makes it quite important on the way she is perceived by others around her in the workforce. Coming to the workforce itself, a lot of companies, sorry, a lot of companies are giving equal opportunities to men and women in the workforce, especially in a hospital. We have got senior leadership teams where there is an equal number of men and women. There are, of course, as you rightly said, in a hospital, the majority of the workforce is women because of nursing, because of housekeeping, or there are lots of areas.
Yeah, yeah. True.
However, today, when I see or look at my own hospital, there is an equal strength of male and females, except for nursing, of course, and whether it is senior leadership or otherwise. But having said that, it is true that a male and a female is perceived differently in different scenarios of the workplace.
Yeah.
There are some areas where they feel that women will perform much better. There are certain areas where the males would perform much better. When it comes to hardcore engineering, when it comes to maintenance, facility management, it becomes easier for the males to do the tough jobs, so to say. Not that women are not capable of doing the tough jobs, but at the
Yeah.
same time, when it comes to nursing, when it comes to gentle care, when it comes, women by nature are built in such a way that the compassion, the care, the kindness is a little more is a more easier part to you know bring into the workplace. So therefore, it is not wrong to say that yes, there are times when male and females are perceived as more suitable in certain areas of the workplace, and it is good to make that happen. At the same time, there are lots of jobs which male and females can equally perform well. It is, of course, required that equal opportunities are given to both to prove themselves, and definitely they will succeed.
Okay. Thank you, madam. Actually, the lights which you have shared, that is woman being multitasking, I think can take up a lot of responsibility, be it home, be it workplace, anywhere. But I think the true balance is there where the equal opportunities are given to both the genders, and I think we take most productivity or maximize each other's support as well as the cooperation to make it sustain any organization you take. So I think it's so well taken. Moving to the another topic which says about to analyze the output of the effectiveness or adopting holistic approach in the organization. So Manisha, what are your thoughts on that? How will you evaluate that whatever implementation we do, what of strategy we put into practice, in a gender equality and giving the responsibility and getting the work done, and whatever wellness program we do or taking care of their health and their family and like that, what are the measures and what are the tools available by which we can evaluate that?
So I think largely, I mean, to answer that first, I will tell you some of the measures and then how we can evaluate those. Right. So I think first, which is most pertinent, and I can speak from personal experience because I have
Sure.
done it for a lot of
Sure.
my employees as
Own
well as
organization. Yeah.
offer flexible working to them. I think now it's becoming a global norm with COVID. So many people are working from home, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's not the case with us in hospitals. We have to be on the shop floor. But I have seen that offering flexible, work environment to women, especially around critical milestones of their personal life, be it pregnancy, coming back from maternity leave, any kind of gap taken for providing care at home. One, it enables us to have an employee who's a good performer and she stays long, and we don't lose on a good employee. And second, of course, with longevity and tenure, and if we see the performance of such a female employee who's been given this opportunity, we
Yeah.
feel that the stickability and loyalty towards the company or organization is far more. I think the buy-in that such an employee has towards the policies, goals, ethos of the organization is far more, because then you make them a part of your family and don't treat them like an employee anymore. So I think
Yeah.
the kind of loyalty and acceptance that you can get by implementing something so simple as
Mm.
a flexible working environment goes a long way in getting the kind of loyalty. We know what happens in our industry. There is poaching, there is attrition. It's
Yeah.
difficult. It's a hard task for us to keep good talent for long. And I've seen with personal example that with women who are given this opportunity, it's given us great results. And cost of acquiring a new employee is far more
Yeah.
than of retaining one who's already trained and working with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this, just as an example of how this measure is paid off. And I think second is providing equal pay. I think as us as hospitals do a fairly good job. I would say, corporate hospitals like us, we are equally, we are very cognizant of the fact that equal pay is important and we don't discriminate as such. But I know other industries, and I can speak on behalf of other friends and other acquaintances that I know, and also from secondary data that's available, is that wherever there has been instances of unequal pay and pay inequity, there has been a lot of exiters, and those are organizations which have very skewed gender ratios. They have uninclusive environments, and they have low diversity and lack of diversity, and that doesn't create a very thriving creative environment. And ultimately such organizations hit the wall, whether it is growth, creativity, new ideas, etc.
Okay. Okay. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your own experience, and you have been part and parcel of whole journey. So it's so well taken. The same thing, Ms. Williams. What are your practices at Reliance Hospital? Anything else that you would like to add on what Manisha has just narrated?
I think I covered a bit of it earlier on in my previous answer.
Okay.
But yes, right from the top leadership to the ground levels, women are performing very well at every level of the hospital. And The responsibilities are also given not as per you being a female or a male, but
Yeah.
as per your skill sets, as per your,
Credentials
how
or
you can manage your attitude, your culture, and so on. And we have already as a hospital, we have got a very well defined values.
hmm.
So we give a lot of importance, and whether you are a male or a female, if we abide by those values, by that culture, we not only achieve a lot, we also create that kind of an environment which
Hmm.
is conducive to functioning well in every situation.
Okay.
That is most important, and it is ingrained in us when we work in a hospital how much those values are important towards the patients, towards the customers that we deal with day in day out.
Yeah.
So yes, and coming back to the other point where it comes to gender parity, or in terms of maybe even salaries, in terms of this, as Manisha rightly said, we do not have that kind of discrimination. We look at people purely on the expertise as well as the kind of performance, and
Yeah.
that is very well organized. So yes, all in all, it is a very professional workplace to be in.
So, in that connection, may I just request you to share some of the wellness programs which your organization have adopted in order to maintain that?
As far as women go, we are cognizant of the fact that mental health is very important for women as well as males. But women's being the nature that they are, and they are also coming with a lot of the extra effort that they put in to come to work every day to face the work, not only here in the hospital, but also from the kind of family pressures they come in, being women. We are cognizant of the fact that people need mental support. They need
Yeah.
to be they need to have that opening that, okay, if you feel down, if you feel low, here is a counselor, you can speak. There are options available to them to open up to people in the hospital, and
Yeah.
they are always made to feel that you are going to be looked after irrespective of what you're going through. That is key important in the workplace. And this is one thing that we follow as a wellness criteria, that is a mental wellness. Then,
Okay.
of course, we have got equal medical facilities for male and female. There, actually, we don't distribute, I mean, we don't discriminate or distinguish between female needs more care or a male needs lesser care. However, when it comes to maternity leaves, when it comes to, you want support of a particular requirement of a leave, then we definitely are very much, you know, cognizant of the fact that yes, you do need leave. We ensure that if you can work from home during those times, we give you that facility of work from home, even though hospitals do not really, they cannot afford to work from home. We have to
Yeah.
be on site. We have to be, there for the customers, for the
Yeah. Yeah.
patients. But we have to also remember that when we need, and the same goes for males also, if they need a paternity leave for maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever, while their wives have just delivered babies, we definitely accommodate that as well. So it all depends, and we at HOD levels are free to decide how we need to help our teams. So at
Okay.
every level, we accommodate people who need our support, not just because we are women, but you know, irrespective of the fact that we are male or female.
Yeah. Okay. Very well described the practices which are taken up. We have few questions from the audience as well. I'll just quickly take that. What can corporate organization do to ease the workplace culture for the women, especially during the pandemic times? We are hoping that pandemic should not arrive again, and we are done with the Omicron and not expecting further variants. But even if, I mean, such a thing, I mean, it's very unpredictable. We never know that what is coming in the future. So, as a woman leader, right here, what are your views as to how organization to cope up with this workplace culture only for the woman during the pandemic? When Manisha just mentioned about the having children behind at home and taking care of home, taking care of family, plus you have a lot of stress happening at your workplace, especially when you are in the leadership capacity and all that. Plus you have got huge team to motivate and keep them sustained to work in such a conditions. So what are your suggestion which or any organization should consider? I'll start with Manisha.
Yeah. I think, Neha, what's important during pandemic, again, hospital context, we don't have work from home. And I already spoke about flexible working, but I will talk at large, not just hospitals, but all
Yeah.
organizations that
Yeah, yeah,
also have work from home, where I think there is a miss in face-to-face contact and in office camaraderie with which people usually work. I think there it is important to keep encouraging women to take up important projects, to take up important responsibilities. They should not, while being at home. I mean, work from home. Yes, you are sitting in a home office and working, but you are in home environment, and that is something on your head, and you can get pulled more and more towards home chores and looking after
yeah,
people at
yeah.
home. So I think in especially in this scenario for women, I think from managers, leaders, their supervisors point of view, it's important for them to keep encouraging women to take up projects, take up more responsibilities, give them equal opportunities for growth also, and give them equally challenging tasks as you are giving to men, and keep encouraging them, appreciate them, recognize them equally as you're doing. And I think that's very, very important. And I think overall, whether pandemic or non-pandemic, I think overall well-being strategy of organization is important. Now, if we talk about workplace, I think just in terms of workplace, having provision for private area for say breastfeeding or maternal care in office premises, that is important to have. We have it in hospitals, but I think all workspaces should make it so that it's comfortable for new mothers to get back to work. Similarly, I think it's important to keep in mind not just maternity leave or paternity leave, but also give time off for gynecological scans, maybe fertility leaves and so on to women, so that they don't feel they're taking leaves over and above, and this is part of the healthcare provisions and leave policies of the organization. Maybe have, if not an in-house daycare or crèche, have tie-up with some
Correct,
external
correct. Yeah, very true.
crèches. That is
Yeah,
a
yeah,
facility that you can extend to employees. That is something we do here as
yeah.
well. So I think in terms of inclusive policies of healthcare, I think these are some of the things that will help.
Sure, sure. Very nice. Very good thoughts. I think just in connection to that, do you feel that we should also have a clinic and also detect the early menopause symptoms and can throw some remedy to. And I would suggest that if you have kind of menstruation leave also maybe can be thought of, because during the menstruation also the women are actually suffering. They are here also, they are at home also, and they are suffering at least early 2 3 days. That area also can be thought of by organization. Okay, we have some other questions also that yes, women employees continue to experience the greater rates of burnt out, and what can be done to improve the scenario, Miss Williams, as a
Actually,
whole?
this is a very good question, and whoever has asked it. So, see, the most important thing is not just what your organization can do for you. The other aspect to being a woman, being a working woman, is how your family treats you and
Right.
sees you as a working woman. Because if that is supportive and that makes a kind of a provision for you in your own homes, that yes, they value your working, they value that you have a career, and therefore everyone in your family, be it one person just being your husband or your parents or your in-laws, if they are supportive and they build a conducive environment in the home, that goes a long way for the lady of the house to be able to work. And
Yeah.
that is what she looks for. So, as a woman, I have, or if I speak about myself personally, I have had a lot of support on this, especially from my husband and also my in laws. And now I've got two grown-up daughters who are also working, and they would also look at the home in the same way, that yes, we want that freedom to work, we want that support, and at the same time chip into every area of the home that needs to be looked into. When we talk about greater rates of burnout, it is because only when everything is burdened on the woman to handle in the home, and of course give the equal amount of effort at the workplace.
Yeah.
We are also uh, built in a way that children are our responsibilities, but if we think that it is equal responsibilities of the parent, and then I would like to say that the work culture should equally give that importance to the males, that they can also have that time to support the wives who are having this kind of effort to be put in. So it is both ways. It is both ways. And so yes, even I feel extremely burnt out at the end of the day. But I've seen, even from an IT perspective, when I look at the development teams, there are lots of ladies. They come for meetings at 9 in the night. They come for meetings even when they are sitting at home. That
Yeah.
is from the other industry. That is, if I look at Reliance IT, not just the hospital, or I look at my other friends who are in the IT industries, core consulting environment, they take calls, they work with international companies, they are awake in the night, they are available in the morning. So people do put in a lot of effort, they do feel burnt out, but at the same time, that will be lesser and lesser if they have an equal support from their
Yeah.
families to help them when they need that help.
Yeah. Very
So this
true.
is the only way you can feel, you can control the rate at which we feel burnt out.
Yeah. Very important point you have just mentioned, that value of the woman as well as support of the family. We have seen the COVID scenario when the nurses were not even allowed to come on duty by their husband and family, or if they're unmarried, that the parents, because they were also scared of that, my daughter will go and, probably they'll be affected with the COVID and all that. So we have seen such a experience live happening during the pandemic. So you have just rightly supported, not even in the pandemic, otherwise also the woman, working woman per se. I think the family, whosoever is there, they should actually support them. Otherwise, the thing will not be rosy for them to work ahead, and it will not be a motivating factor. Yes, very right. Say, do you think we all are working in the healthcare industry? You might have worked with other industries also. What is the condition when we talk about diversion and inclusion, particularly in healthcare? Where are we standing as far as inclusion is concerned? The culture of DNI, wherein a lot of buzz around is there in other industry also. So, any thoughts on that? Any of you can just opine on that.
Manju, would like to go ahead.
Yeah, sure. No, just quickly, I
Yeah,
think, and I think Neha mentioned this right at the start, that in terms of, just ratios, I think we have a good number of women working in hospitals. But I think inclusion is much more than that, and I feel that inclusion comes from, organizations, policies, and ethos set right at the top, and B comes from how sensitized everybody is in the ecosystem at work. Now, talking about I think that is a function of how corporate the organization is. I've worked in very good corporate hospitals where the company has been very pro and very, very sensitive to women's needs. I started my career in an IT firm where it was not the case, and
okay,
really, it's different strokes with different companies. It's more a function of
sure,
how professional companies, how mature they are.
yeah,
But I think the second bit of creating sensitizing everyone in the workplace, in the entire ecosystem, the organization, I think we have some way to go there, despite the large number of women who are working in hospitals, doctors, nurses. But still, I think not just men, but I see some women also in mid-senior levels, in administrative levels, who are not, despite being women themselves, are not as sensitive and have not been mature enough to craft policies and to set the right messaging to their team. So I feel we have some way to go there. We have laws like a maternity leave, which is a law which you can't break, and of course then therefore everybody's abiding by it. But some of the other things that all of us mentioned before are still adapted piecemeal, like flexible working is something which is not
Yeah.
available to most of the women in hospitals. Work from home scantily available, no matter what is the condition back home. We are fairly equal pay masters, but are we creating equal opportunities for them, keeping
Yeah.
in mind what they are going through? Probably not. So I think we have some way to go there.
Okay. Okay. From you, madam, on this culture of inclusion and diversity.
So if I look at only the IT industry from where I come and from the healthcare industry where I work, I think there is a good amount of inclusion for women in
Okay.
all aspects. Never
Okay.
is there I have ever heard that you are not capable of doing this, or this is only a male bastion, and therefore you are not included in this, or you do only what you are capable of. Nothing like that. But yes, there are a lot of other industries, like I have seen in hotels. If you work in the kitchen, for example,
Yeah.
and I'm giving this from a little, family experience where my daughter herself is a chef. There
Okay.
is there is a lot of uh, environment where, yes, if you're capable of working till 12 in the night or 1 in the morning, you are included. You are not given any special feature facilities. You're not given any this, and yes, they try to see how tough you are by throwing more challenges at you. And I don't see or call that as making it easier for you to be included in the work environment.
Hmm. Okay.
Maybe, yeah, maybe it is a way of working, it is a way of life. Secondly, there are lots of other industries like construction, like many other different places where I don't think women would see that kind of inclusion as we see it in healthcare. There will be discrimination, there will be this. So if we really want to include women in every area, like for example, I see a lot of women today becoming engineers. I don't think there is less than 50% of every engineering batch from an institute that has that does not have women. There are enough women who are graduating as engineers. How many of them are taken up in the hardcore industries where they really want to work?
Hmm.
How many are selected? It's not visible, but there is a lack of inclusion in many areas where they feel a male would be better. This, I think, needs to change a lot. They have to be given the kind of work they want to do, not considering that they are a woman and they won't be able to do it.
Okay. Right. I think fairly well answered in a very descriptive manner for both from the both panelists on this particular topic on diversion and inclusion, and very good examples we have seen cross industries and other experience also we have just heard from Miss Williams. Moving forward to the whole holistic development, our topic is running towards the holistic development about the organization we as women and all that. What could be difference, because it is as the research says that women are 25% more uncomfortable in sharing their own challenges, their own issues. They are not that opened up with any female colleague, or as well as their own, maybe their partners and their parents likewise. So how to deal with those issues, and what are the psychological differences between the male and the female? So when we come across all our employees, all our subordinates, they are male, they are female, how do we perceive to them, and how do we listen to them? And maybe the organization can take some platform and create this opportunity where one can freely talk about their mental issues. Yeah. So any thoughts on those lines? Yeah, Miss Williams.
So in a hospital, we make sure that we give equal opportunities for counseling. See, that is
Okay.
very important. And when we talk about this issues, this workplace, what do you call it? The holistic approach, okay, at the workplace, we have to understand that at different levels, women perform differently. Today, if I talk about my level, I have already, like, after working in the industry as a woman for 30 plus years, my approach will be very different. I will be, I'll be successful in any area of the workplace, and I'll be able to stand up for myself.
Yeah.
Look at a woman who's just entered the industry. And when we are talking about the younger generation today, the women of the younger generation, we have to understand that they need guidance, they need training, they need, and it's not only for male and female, but more for females because they are still yet to adapt to the workplace. They are already facing issues that females normally face in their homes,
Okay.
and they are already well educated to stand on their own feet. So now, connecting the three areas of work, and then, taking decisions, being able to really this, they will need a lot of guidance and counseling. And at least I've seen in the case of hospitals, we always have this as a very flexible option for them. HRs in hospitals take care of all this,
Okay.
HR teams. We have got training programs. We've got mental well-being
Okay.
programs,
Very
which
nice.
HR conducts, organizes on and off, and they're equally, male and females are invited. They are both open to talk. They take it in small batches. If there are certain particular issues which are only women-related issues, they form women groups. So we do that also. Similarly, for the younger generation, that training of the workplace is very important. How you induct the people, the women in the workplace when they join, that is also very important. We
Okay.
say that you are already skilled, but that induction in every workplace is very important, especially if you're a woman, because you need to come out of that. Men are already built. Okay, you are at home, but you're still made to work. You are going to be the breadwinner. But women have to be inducted that yes, this is the place where you can prove anything you wish to prove, and that is important.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Manisha, the same thing.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think Ms. Williams has covered it quite extensively. I think occupational health is one. Just to crisply put it, easy for us to do in house while running hospitals, but I think occupational health at all workplaces for women is important, which should ideally include, like, we have tailor made screening plans, we have health check plans for women with various age groups that cover their needs appropriately. And we also have an in-house counselor. Like, of course, we have counselors, we have psychologists, therapists in the hospital. But I think occupational health as such, and I think Neha, you mentioned a while back about having a clinic in-house, and I think some of the
Yeah.
more mature corporates like Amazon, etc., and they were in talks with us to set it up for them as well, are looking at doing this, having occupational health, having clinics in their offices, and having dedicated personnel to look at women health, have dedicated tailor-made plans for women health checks, and also
Oh.
have counselors who can interact with women and who can take care of their specific needs. So I think largely Ms. Williams has very nicely summed it up, but specifically this is one thing that we do, and I think a lot of mature good organizations are looking at also, and some of the things which I mentioned earlier, like giving fertility leaves, and appropriate leaves to women so that they can do their health checks, scans, and so on, and sort of be inclusive in designing the overall well-being strategy. I think create messaging that reflects the beliefs of an environment where you want high performance, but you also want an environment that has fit employees, that talks about fitness, and fitness now means both mental and physical fitness. So I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
this kind of communication and messaging from the top, it can be done in all organizations at no expense. I think this itself creates an optimum, a vibe, a culture, and sets the right tone in any company to take forward any more measures.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing such a good insights. I think this is more about having a gym in the hospital or in any organization or any sport thing, when you are asking your employees to get relaxed. I think we need to have the mental gym also available apart from the physical gym. So that gym is for the brain. So wherein, all people are get to gathering and then talking and just sharing their all, mental issues that and what are challenges, what they are battling in their mind. I think that would create a sense of satisfaction. Yes, I think last thing, what will be your advice to the working moms and the way we are looking at the work life balance? Is it taking a toll? I think Manisha would agree. I'm there. No, Miss Williams, your daughters have grown up, but still you might have gone through such a huge
Oh,
challenge
yes.
of work life balances and all that. So what were your suggestions? What were you adapting in order to maintain all that life course, I would say?
So, as an advice to working moms, I don't know whether I'm actually capable of giving that advice,
You are
but
experienced, you are senior, you
but
can
yes,
share.
from my own experience, I can say, first of all, you have to stand up for what you want. You have to give your own self that importance. That what is it that makes you happy? You have a right to be happy. And if you are educated and you want to have a career, go ahead. But remember that you have to also put in that kind of effort. Like I hardly get to sleep 5 hours a day in
Oh.
24 hours. You have to be ready for that.
Hmm.
You have to take rest when it's possible, work hard when it is required, and you have to be able to, divide your time during the day to whatever is important at that time. And I have to give family time. I have to give family time. If I don't have that family time today, it was not the same situation when my children were growing up. So at
Hmm.
every stage of your life, you have to decide what is more important at that time.
Yeah.
And if you are having a supportive environment, go for it.
Hmm.
Do it. So at times, like, yes, during the growing up time, I also give preference that yes, I will work, I will use a babysitter. It is not always that a mother has to be 24 by 7 around the child. Give the child also a good amount of, uh, space to grow. Expose the children to different environments which are safe, most important, which are safe and which are conducive to good health.
Yeah.
So if that is possible, go all out and work. If you feel that no, there are times when you have to sacrifice your careers, your work, your choice, and your own happiness. At times when your children are growing up, you have to give that as a priority in your life. You cannot avoid it. So
So
that
the
would be
two
my
words which
advice
I
to.
yeah, so two words which I pick up from your this thing is that the priority which matters, whatever the priority at that particular phase, you'll have to stand up for that and you have to absorb them with the support. Right? I think every stage of life of woman are different, be it daughter and then your wife and then your mother and then whatnot. So I think all the stages are different in the woman's life, and yes, you rightly said that all the phases will have to be justified as per a requirement, as per the priority. So that's very well answered, madam. Thank you so very much. I think same. I would request Manisha to uh, uh, narrate what are your experiences and how one woman should. What is your advice to young women?
So I'm a young working mom. I have a very small kid. So, but I have a lot of experience with my colleagues, my teammates, peers who have done it, and I'm experiencing it now. I think two words is love yourself. Don't guilt yourself. I think we all become victims of so much guilt, and we feel bad of not paying attention at home, and then we feel bad that we have not been able to do up to the mark at work, and then it's like neither here nor there, and you have
Yeah,
this
true.
unrelenting feeling. I think don't get into this spiral because it's not good. I think prioritize. That's the key, really. Miss Williams said that. That's very important. What is important? Have focus. Be decisive, and just enjoy the moment. It's such a big blessing to be a mother, and we are lucky to have good jobs. So enjoy both ways. And I think also from women who are working, and who are managers and supervisors and leaders and who have women working under them. I think for them as well, it's important that they can develop individual well-being goals as part of learning and development goals for their teams, specifically for women in their teams. And when you do a learning development plan for your team, put an individual well-being goal in it. Organize events that build awareness of this kind of culture. Organize some campaigns where you can bring your kid to work, show them what it is like, what your mom does at work, and make a good ring about it. Also,
Very good idea. Hmm.
from a management point of view, align policies and goals to include this and sensitize all employees. And I think earlier on in conversation it was alluded as well that not just maternity leave, paternity leave is also important. So
Yeah.
it's very important to the message that both man and woman in a marriage have to play an equal role, and both are
Yeah.
important from a child caring
True.
point of view, every point of view. Of course, the roles they play are different, but
True.
both of them need to give time to it. And as a leader and as managers, we can set that culture in workplace also, and
Yeah.
evangelize that as well. So I think at an overall way, a lot is in the hands of leaders and managers to introduce inclusive healthcare policies, provisions, and also themselves imbibe, execute, and evangelize these things at workplace.
Thank you, Manisha. I think the one good idea which you have just given to me, I think I would like to adopt that. That is, bringing your kid to the work once a month or maybe one day can be designated where your children are there by your side and they can also witness what you are doing. At least by that, you will have their support, their understanding once they grow up. So that is very
Yes.
important to show them that what we are doing whole day. They should not feel that, we are just leaving them alone with whatever facility we have at home and then we are just enjoying our life. That is not the case. So I think for even if you have a boy or girl, it is at that tender age if they are witnessing everything. I think that will be a big support when we grow up further. So with that, I really thank both of you. A lot of good lessons I have collected from our talk. That is about having the mother guilt and how to cope up with that particular challenges at the workplace. Women are the multitasking and equal opportunities have to be given. And at many organizations, we do practice that. There is a concept of pay equality, and all men and women are actually considered based on their talent and their merit and credentials and given equal pay. And women will have to stand up if not appreciated by the organization. Having some tools wherein we can evaluate such a wellness practices if any organizations have adopted, having the less attrition, nurturing the talent, making them. Making, I mean, we talk about the longevity and the duration with the organization. A lot of tools which just Manisha has mentioned, which we can have it and consider for the evaluation as a whole. And as a holistic approach to this whole chat, I would say that the one bottom message which I personally take from this gupshup is to love yourself as a woman, and have the individualistic approach wherein you put yourself first to take care of others. I think that is what we conclude here. Any other thoughts? I mean, this is what I conclude here. Thank you so very much for the interesting discussion here on this lovely, and very required topic. Over to Garima, please.
Thank you so much, panelists. Trust me, I have not missed a single word of this discussion. It felt so empowering. It's felt so enlightening, to listen to the stalwarts that I have in front of me, and learning from these nuances that you've just shared, in the last hour or so. So thank you very much, for your time and your presence. I would just like to inform you that we have two of our upcoming events in the month of March, which is the fourth Diagnostic Leadership Summit. 22nd, 23rd March. And we have the second Pharma Leadership Summit on the 26th and the 27th of April. So please, join us again at these sessions. And once again, thank you so much, leading ladies, for your time and your valuable
Pleasure is
insights.
all ours, Garima. We are very happy to be here.
Thank you so much, and please accept this small token of gratitude from our end. These certificates that we present to you, Miss Philu Williams. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was wonderful listening
Thank
to
you.
your insights here. Miss Manisha Kumar, thank you so much, ma'am. Lovely
Thank
listening to
you.
your pointed insights.
Thank you, Garima.
Miss Neha Lal, thank you for wonderfully, moderating this session. It was really lovely, listening to all of you here. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Garima, and thanks to Ilage for
Thank
having us
you.
here all together, allowing
Thanks,
us to
Neha. It's
share our
wonderful
thoughts.
talking to you.
Same. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, ma'am.
Thank you,
Okay.
Garima. Thank you, Neha. Thank you, Ms.
Thank you. Bye-bye.